For the past 3 months, I set out to try something that I never really have tried or tested or even entertained before. And that was endurance training. That was cardiovascular training. I'm someone who, from the age of 16, began lifting weights and pretty much never looked back. And I've done that throughout the course of my life, and I've really enjoyed it. I've liked progressing and trying to gain strength in the gym and all of the great stuff that comes with the gym. But what I will say is that it can get boring at times. That's what brings in, changing up workouts, trying different things, different styles of training, higher reps, lower reps, strength, different machines, dumbbells, barbells, going back and forth. And I've been there, done that, right? For about, 8 years now. I'm almost 25, so almost 9 years of doing that. I've noticed some great gains over the course of time, and by no means is it to the social media standard that is fitness, Instagram, and influencers and whatever it is these days, because everyone's injecting testosterone into their ass. But at 24, I feel like I've built a pretty solid physique, one that I can be proud of, and one that me at 16, looking back or looking ahead, would be proud of as well. But as I've gotten older, I realized that there's just something missing. And that something missing is a new challenge, a new stressor, a new task, a new goal, right? Something that I can challenge myself with that isn't something that I'm used to. And I think it's something that is great to do in different aspects of life, because you can get stagnant, you can get complacent, and you can kind of feel stuck, and you can feel that you're just not progressing, right? Even though you might be progressing in other areas that are boring, you're not progressing in the manner that, you can visibly see, or that you can quantitatively, track and recognize. And that's why I said to myself, you know what? Let's start running. Let's stop just lifting weights and let's do both. We could do both. We don't have to stop lifting weights. We can still lift weights 4 times a week, but we can run 3+ times a week. And we can build up a nice base, a nice cardiovascular fitness base that I've never done before, right? Seeing myself run maybe like a sub 6 mile would be awesome. Seeing myself run a 3.5 hour marathon. Like, these are things that I've just recently started to think about that I've really never thought about before. I may have gotten my pace down to like a 6:30 or something back in like middle school, right? When I first started running, and you're playing soccer here and there. And I even did indoor track, but it was short distance sprints in high school for about 2 years. I played lacrosse, and I even played some football as well throughout my growing up years, but I never really went out and ran 5 miles. Like, it would not be something that I did. I just didn't do that, right? And so I was like, you know what? Let's fucking do it. Like, let's challenge ourselves. Let's go run a marathon. And you know what? No, screw the marathon. Let's go run an ultra marathon. Let's go run a trail-based ultra marathon in the heart of Central Texas. And that's the plan, and that is our goal at the end or towards the end of this year. And I've already got my eyes on some other potential races that I would like to do across the country going forward. And if that doesn't set the stage for this video, I don't know what does. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to go over 5 things that I have learned over the past couple of months, the past 3 months specifically, since I fully committed to truly running and training for an event and training for a race. I don't care to win these things. It's not the intention. I want to progress. I want to become a better version of myself. And I know that sounds cliche, and it can sound cliche, but truly, I want to look myself in the mirror and be like, that is the guy that you got to beat today. You from yesterday, right? That run that you did yesterday, that run that you did last month, last week, that pace, that this, that. I want to beat that person. And whatever that takes me to do, right? Wherever that takes me over the next couple of years and beyond, so be it. Awesome. I don't care if that means winning races, if that means coming in last. It just means beating the past version of myself. So the first thing that I can take away, right, that I want to take away is the excitement to training is back. For the first couple of weeks, it's not as much anymore, but I'm still there, don't get me wrong. I could barely sleep because I was planning out my next run, my next workouts, and I was super excited to get up and get after it. And I'm like, dude, I just got to get up. I was tossing and turning. I was like, my sleep was really affected early on, but not in a bad way. It was more so, I was so excited. And I had this like weird, like almost butterfly kind of feeling in my stomach, like every night, just thinking about like the next day. And so I was like super excited for whatever I was doing work-wise, whatever my training was going to be that day, because pretty much every single day involves some sort of training. Sometimes I'll take a day off, but to some degree, it's either we're lifting or running, or we're doing some sort of mobility, stretching, something along those lines. The next thing is that it brought back more discipline in my life, because what it started to force me to do was I now had to get up and I now had to get these things in or fit them in to my workday. So it really comes down to like that discipline in, right, just sticking to your plan. That's bled over tremendously into work. And so I'm much better about completing tasks, getting things done within certain windows, because I know I have to still fit in this run or this workout. And I have not missed a single one, not a single one in about 3 months since really kind of committing to these races that I want to do at the end of this year. And I think it's been a good thing overall, right? And if I want to relate this to kind of my own trading and all that stuff, I've actually done the best as of late. And it's more so discipline to sticking to a setup, sticking to what I know works, and just executing. If it's there, it's there. If it's not there, it's not there. And I don't bother, past me, sit there in front of a screen, throw money away. Because I come from, the stock market, trading, investing kind of background. So that on top of other work, I feel like I've got a much better handle on, and I'm much more disciplined to get it done and to do what I said I was going to do at the end of the day. The third thing is that your cardiovascular fitness can improve drastically in a pretty short period of time. And what I mean by that is, like, I started out, guys, I could barely run a mile. And yeah, I'm in shape. I'm fit by the average standard. You see me walk around and yeah, he's in shape. He's pretty solid, right? But you wouldn't know that I could barely run a mile in 9 minutes or 10 minutes. The first time I ran a mile, like a few months ago, I was like, holy crap, I can barely run this thing in under 10 minutes. Like, I was dying by the end. And I'm like, geez, I'm barely putting in a sub 10-minute mile. Now, everyone's different, but for looking at myself, I thought that was kind of scary. I was like, geez, man, like, I need to work on this. And it's all relative. Everyone's got a different starting point and all that stuff. But I thought that was crazy. But since then, in a matter of 3 months, I can now rip off a 5-mile run in a sub 8:40 pace and hold that. And that was something that, to be honest, an 8:40 mile would be pretty taxing when I just got started a few months ago. So now 5 miles, 8:40 pace across all of them on average, that's pretty cool. And that's something that, I didn't realize, like, how fast you can progress. And I think it's like anything else. When you start lifting, when you start training, you're going to see the most of your gains right away, like the first few months. Like, oh my God, I'm going up. As long as you're feeding yourself, fueling yourself properly, all these different things, which I'll get to that in a second. Like, it's the same thing with cardio. It's the same thing with running. Now, obviously, that's going to slow down over time, because you're not going to just now all of a sudden go to a 7:30 pace and then a 6:30 pace for 5 miles in 3, 6, 9 months from now. It's not going to happen. But it's cool that I'm seeing the progress. And it's something that I feel like I haven't seen progression like that to this degree in a long time, because my lifting progression has been super, super slow because I've been doing it for so long. You can kind of max out to your physical limit to some degree. You can keep pushing and slowly over time build, but it's not like you're progressing like you were when you first started lifting. That's for sure. Next thing, number 4, is my average resting heart rate has decreased drastically. And you can see the progression. Look at the past couple months on this chart. I mean, the thing is just plummeting down. Now, that's good and bad to some degree. Like, I looked it up, and you don't want it to go too low. But athletes and those who are physically fit tend to have a much lower resting heart rate, because their heart, right, is operating so much more efficiently, and you're training that muscle, which is a pretty cool kind of side effect of running, right? Even just a couple times a week, guys. I run 3 times a week at least. And when I say at least, it's standard. It's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. There'll be sometimes I'll run on a Monday night or a Friday, here and there, light. But the set workouts, the progression workouts, are Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'm not running every single day, and I'm seeing these solid benefits. I don't say crazy, but I'm already seeing some great benefits to that by just implementing a simple 3-day-a-week minimum run routine. That's it. Number 5, I'm absolutely hungry as shit. I just continuously eat. It was one thing that I will say, I used to be like insanely dialed in with my protein intake. I was like, dude, I'm never missing a day like where I'm going to go under 200 grams of protein, and I'm 175 pounds. Usually I try to get about a gram per pound of body weight. And there's studies that will say that, you can probably build muscle with, 0.7 to 0.8 times your body weight in grams of protein. And there's some that say you need to eat, 1.2 or even more. And so I'm like, hey, if I can get towards or up towards 200 grams a day, that'll be awesome. It'll be great. And I'll be fine with that. And I'll be able to build muscle. I don't have to worry about, right, the recovery aspect and the growth from a strength and a muscle perspective. But I have been eating like a monster as of late, and my appetite has spiked up tremendously, especially as you start increasing the mileage each week. And I'm only in the mid-20s right now in terms of weekly mileage, but as I get up into the 30s and maybe in the 40s at some point, you can see like you're going to have to fuel yourself. So it's a good and bad thing because it's fun. I like eating and it's great. You don't have to worry about like cutting calories. I'm like, hey, you can go two ways about this, right? Here's my view. I could sit back and I could say, oh, I'm going to, try to diet down for the summer. I'm going to like try to lose some body fat and I get down to like, from 175 to like 170, 165, somewhere in there would be good. I would look super, super lean. And it would be awesome. It'd be like a sick, summer kind of cut, right? But I was like, okay, I could do that. I could restrict calories, eat like, 2,000 calories a day and then get down there after a couple weeks or whatever. Or I could just increase my cardio. And at some point, you'll be running and you'll be so active that your body, you're almost not going to be able to keep up with the food unless you're eating a ton of crap and you're just getting tons of calories and you're not really giving a crap where it's coming from. It's not going to be as easy to keep up. And so you'll start to kind of lose some weight by default because you're just burning so many calories. And I was like, if you want to look like an athlete, you may as well start training like one, right? And the food certainly falls into line, and I definitely feel 10 times better when I'm eating quality whole foods, when I'm eating good chicken, right? Good red meat, right? I'm eating steaks or ground beef. When you're eating maybe some salmon, some fattier meats, some fattier fish there. You're getting some potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, like avocados, just cheese, put it on top, some butter, when I'm cooking some of my eggs, like eggs is a huge one, right? Just eating these foods, like I feel good. And when I start eating shit, I don't feel good. It impacts how I feel the next day. My stomach's not right. The workout isn't good. So why would I do that? But when you're eating quality foods, like the calories, unless you're cooking it in tons of oil and butter, like your calorie intake can easily come down from, a processed diet. And it's like you only can eat so much, like you're eating, and it can be expensive, don't get me wrong, but you're going to naturally kind of fall into line or you're going to lean out if that's what one of your goals are. Like this is an easy way to do so because again, you're training like an athlete. And so you're going to start to look like one as long as your diet is somewhat decently dialed in. And I've always been a big proponent of keeping my diet dialed in, eating, a high amount of protein and eating, a fair amount of fat that you need for hormonal balance and then filling the rest in with carbs. And I don't have a problem. But the carb intake is something that, I have no problem increasing as my physical activity continues to increase over time. But overall, I'm super happy with how it's working out. I'm super excited to keep going. I haven't been this excited about physical fitness in a while because lifting kind of just got monotonous and it just became like a thing. Now I love when I go to the gym. I still love it because I've kind of simplified my workouts down to a couple of like 6 or 7 exercises per day, per lift that I come in and we're looking to progress. And that's it. Like we're coming in, we're working hard, and we're getting out of there in 45 minutes to an hour. And so we're not taking hours and hours and hours a day. We're still fitting things in. We're being disciplined with how we manage our time. But we've now added this other piece that is now forcing you to be a little more disciplined. And then that bleeds into other aspects of life, whether that's your nutrition, your intaking of food. Because hey, like if I'm eating shit and I'm going to be sleepy, I can't afford to be sleepy and tired. I got to get my night sleep. I got to get my 7 hours. I try to get at least 7 hours. 8 is great. I just found it a little bit difficult to do that with the time that I'm getting up at like 5:45, 6 a.m. every single day to get these runs in, to get my lifts in, in the morning hours. But it forces you to start to dial things in a lot better, which bleeds over into other aspects of life. And I have to say that I can't thank myself enough from 3 months ago from making this decision. and really kind of dialing it in and going all in on this new style of training that I think will continue to provide some positive benefits to come. So if you've been on the fence about getting to the gym, running this, that, like whatever it is, I highly encourage you to try it out. I mean, I'm someone who absolutely has loved the benefits. And if you've got any experiences, let me know in the comments. Happy to read those. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.